Hey, how's it going? Celtics got their first win. Excited to see it. They were 0-3 going into the game against the Pelicans. Got their first win. Now we'll see, can they get a second one, because they do have a tough matchup against the Cavs on Wednesday night. It will be on ESPN, so national TV. Cavs are a team that's, I believe they are undefeated this year. If they're not undefeated, they're on like a 4-game winning streak. So they're playing well going into the matchup. But I want to just touch on the Pelicans game really quickly. No Zion. I did want to see slim down Zion and how he looks on the court. He was out. Okay. Obviously, Tatum still out for the Celtics. Brown is dealing with the hamstring issue where he's constantly game to game time decision on game days, but he did play in the game. So did have some foul trouble, but they were able to pick up the convincing win, 122-90. Anthony Simons led the team in scoring. It was a great night for him. He had it going. Guys kept getting him to the ball. I think it was 9 for 17 and finished with 25 points. They shot 48% from the field, 34% from three. They had kind of struggled from three, especially guys like Pritchard and White, and everybody kind of led to them being subpar. 34%, I think they can still improve upon, but it's a step in the right direction. Takeaways from the game, I think I've done videos and other streams where I said I really like Josh Minott. He seems like a guy that they have on a 2-year deal. He might be a guy that you get used to seeing in Celtics green. I'm just going to say that. If Mazzulla, Brad Stevens are committed to this like new era with pace and defensive pressure, Minott fits it perfectly. Like Minott can give you some perimeter scoring. He has a pretty good jump shot from three. He also plays aggressively on defense, and because of that, he gets on the transition. He can finish at the rim. He's an exciting player. Pretty good interviewer after the game as well. Heard some sound bites from him. He's got some personality. I like it. I like that. He's also young, so he kind of keeps up with the team not necessarily being older or anything like that. So I think he could fit into a vision with Tatum when he comes back. Brown, White, and Minott would probably be one of those cheap options that you're going to need to fill out the roster with. So I definitely like Minott's game. Queta was really good against the Pelicans. He gave you protection around the rim defensively. He gave you his offensive game. He can finish at the rim. We see him with the dunks and everything. He has like this little floater push shot that he does in the lane where he gets extremely high up and then kind of releases it a little bit higher. Like, he's pretty good at that. And even defensively, if he doesn't get a block, he can alter shots because he does get up there. Now, look, Queta is not a household name. I don't even know if he can be a long-term, I should say, starter for the Celtics, but I think this could be a mini breakout season for him. Garza off the bench chipped in with like 16 and 7. Liked his movement. He screen setting, all of that. But yeah, so Simons, like I said, looks like a guy, instant offense. There were times where the offense might have struggled a little bit and they needed him to create a shot late in the shot clock. He was able to create some space and knock down some tough jumpers. For a little bit, it was kind of interesting seeing him and Jordan Poole, because they would take kind of similar shots that would seem like tough shots, and they would both be making them. Jordan Poole was the leading scorer for the Pelicans, but Jordan Poole was like 5 for 14, and I swear the 5 shots he made were probably all like tough step backs and stuff like that. So it's good to see that from Simons. I do see a lot of questions about Pritchard, Simons starting going forward. I honestly believe Joe Mazzulla is just going to mix and match each night depending on who they play and just go about it that way, which I'm okay with that. That does not bother me in any way. So if that's what they choose to do, cool. Um, yeah. So I guess moving forward, they get another test because looking at their early season schedule, like they faced the Sixers, who Edgecombe and Maxey look really good. Embiid, I mean, I don't know. Like Embiid, we know is MVP caliber when he's healthy, but he hasn't been that past couple of years. And I'm interested to see when the Sixers start entertaining moving on from Embiid. I think if you Maxey and Edgecombe are wing guys that are the future, Embiid, I yeah. But then they went to was it the Knicks after, and the Knicks, a team that is seen as a top tiered Eastern Conference team right now. And then they have the Pistons, who are one of those young East teams that a lot of the NBA analysts and experts would look at this season with Indiana taking a step back with no Halliburton and Celtics taking a step back with no Tatum as a team who could make some waves in the East. So they're 1-3, but it's like understandable that they're 1-3. And look, Wednesday they have a tough matchup against Cleveland, who, despite not having Darius Garland or Max Strus or at least somebody else missing for them, I can't remember right now. But aside from some, rotation guys missing for them, they still have a good team. Donovan Mitchell, we know, can fill it up, has had big games against the Celtics. That's going to be something to watch Wednesday night. You have Allen, who patrols the middle. It'd be interesting to see him and Queta going at each other. And then Evan Mobley, who just consistently adds to his game and gets better. I think it could be a fun matchup. Obviously, the Cavs are going to be the favorites going into the matchup because they should be. But nice little test for the Celtics. Brown, game time decision with the hamstring. But other than that, seems like everybody else is healthy. I want to see what Anthony Simons can do up against Cleveland. It is in Boston, so the home crowd will definitely be behind them. I'm interested to see what the Celtics can do against them. Like going into it, I would probably, if I had to, I'd probably pick the Cavs to win it, but never know. Maybe the Celtics found some things. I mean, Mazzulla found out some rotation things with the Pelicans game that can carry over against Cleveland. And Minott, look, I want to see who he ends up guarding, because he's a long defender, moves his feet well, he gets into passing lanes. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a fun matchup. And look, my mentality on this year, so, every time I do one of these videos on them, you're not going to see me overly upset or anything. Like, I understand the realistic expectations for this team. For me, I'm just looking at the team to find out who can be contributors when Tatum comes back, whether it's end of this year or maybe more likely next year. Actually, I can't even say that. Tatum's probably going to play sometime this year. Will it be meaningful? I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, let me know what you think. Like, how are you feeling about the Celtics so far early in the season? And look, I know rebounding is going to be an issue some nights. And it might be an issue against Cleveland with Allen and Mobley. Mitchell, I feel like rebounds pretty well for a guard. But I think what the Pelicans game did see, Jaylen Brown crashing the boards. Like I said, Queta. Minott is a good rebounder. because just looking at it here, Queta had 11 boards, Minott had 9, Jalen Brown had 7, Simons had 6 rebounds. So it's gonna have to be a collective effort, and just the mentality. And Jalen Brown did talk about that. He said that some of the issues were, shots from the perimeter, guys crashing too far towards the hoop and going over their head. So, that's something that he's said after a game. It's probably something that Missoula's probably trying to hammer into the team. And we'll see how that, affects their rebounding numbers going forward. Because I felt like watching, that's what happened a lot of the times. They would play defense, a guy would shoot from the perimeter, guys crash too far into the paint, and then they're like jumping and it's going like over their fingertips, and teams are getting offensive rebounds against them. Or same thing on the other end. Like, I thought it was a great observation from Jalen Brown, who also said, look, he's going to be a leader and everything like that, likes the guys that are there. And he told fans not to panic because they started off 0-3 and now they're 1-3. I agree with that. Some nights will be tough, granted, but this team isn't like a 15-win team or something like that. I'd be surprised if they won 15 games. I think they're a team that's going to be competitive, maybe not championship level right now, but they'll be competitive. And I'm okay with that as a Celtics fan. I know some fans probably won't be, but, second apron, the subtractions from the offseason, you already knew what this year was. So it's not that big of a deal. But like I said, let me know what you think about the Celtics start to the season. Who's that player that maybe you weren't expecting much from that's shown you a little something? Like I said, Josh Minott is that guy for me. He didn't play a lot when he was in Minnesota. Seeing him play 28 minutes against the Pelicans, it's like, how come he didn't get any minutes in Minnesota? Like, I don't know. But, yeah, so let me know down below. Let's have a conversation. I appreciate you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you next time. Be safe. God bless. All right. Bye.